I happened to come across an article on Inc. magazine that said, "You only have so much time and energy. Don't let people take it from you." The article is about things that mentally strong people don't do. And one of the things that mentally strong people don't do is give their power away. It could happen in various areas of our life that we consider others to be more powerful than us. This gap in power may show up as we see one day our manager is in a bad mood, and so we try to make ourselves as little as possible. A colleague of ours criticizes us, and this is enough to ruin our day. In a meeting, we hear people discussing about a topic and we hesitate to intervene even though we are knowledgeable about the subject. During a coffee break, we hear a discussion about something that we don't know anything about, and we don't ask any questions. Suppose we are the type of person who is kind and always try to get close to people, but when it is possible for us to show this part of ourselves, we hide it away. These are all scenarios where we are giving other people a lot of power, or to put it in a better way, we are giving other people more power than we are giving ourselves. Now, it is inevitable that people will have an impact on our giving away of our power. Stopping any kind of influence from the outside world, and more importantly from people that we spend most of our time with, is impossible. At work, we might believe in our capabilities and in our power overall, but there will be days when we are not in a top performing state, or there will be days when something will go badly wrong, or days when many things in a row will go wrong. In such days, we become vulnerable to our own deep-lying doubts, vulnerable to other people's power, vulnerable to other people's goodwill or malice. But even in our best days, many of us give other people way too much power. When we give more power to someone else than to ourselves, we are allowing the other person to have a determining influence over the way we feel, the way we behave, or the way we think, all having a longer lasting impact on our life. I have found 4 main signs that tell us whether we are giving too much of our power to other people. These are also 4 ways where we can intervene to bring our power back to us. First, we change our behavior radically. It is okay to slightly change our behavior to adapt to the person we are exchanging with, but our most radical, self-defining behaviors should not be touched, not even marginally, by other people. If we have decided that we are the kind of person who is kind, having our colleague criticize us should not bring any change whatsoever in our kind behaviors. If we are kind, we are going to be kind even to the colleague who criticizes us. Second, we don't have standards. In most, if not all, areas of our life, we have to set standards. A standard could be we have defined very clearly certain criteria that will decide whether we've had a good day. Another standard could be establishing healthy boundaries with people. It could be people whose character does not get along with our own, people whose behavior we don't like, people who consume too much of our time and energy. A standard could also be how we decide to spend our time. There are people who, maybe unbeknownst to them, are in the habit of complaining all the time. For example, the colleague who is always crying about how nothing works out for them. We should make a conscious decision about things that we will accept and things that we will not accept to occupy our time. For instance, complaining once is okay, but if it becomes the norm, we should intervene by setting a well-defined standard which will replace all the complaining with a positive attitude. Yet another standard could be our behavior in challenging situations. For example, we might set a standard that states that no matter the behavior of others towards us, we don't hold grudges and we don't retaliate. If we don't set our own standards, there will still be standards at play. It'll just be other people's standards. If our manager is in a bad mood, their standard for a good or bad day will tell whether we will have a good or a bad day. If a colleague of ours makes inappropriate jokes, it will seem like we are okay with these jokes if we don't react to them or if we don't set a boundary with our colleague. If another colleague for some reason makes us so angry that could easily send us spiraling, without our own standard, we could lose it and say or do something that we will regret. Third, our motivating factor is other people. Some people react to criticism by doing everything that they can to prove the criticizing party wrong. Some people modify their objectives and dreams according to what their parents, siblings, partners tell them that they should do. Allowing ourselves to be motivated by other people takes away all of our power and puts it in the other person's hands. Fourth, we change our self-worth according to other people's opinions of us. This is, I think, the most important context where we need to hold on to our power, yet the one where we relinquish our power the most. Having others dictate our self-worth is very dangerous because that means that we're always at the mercy of other people to tell us how to feel and what to think about ourselves. And while there are plenty of kind and just amazing people out there, there are also people who don't particularly care about anybody but themselves, and unfortunately, there are also people who don't want to see others content and happy. So putting our life in the hands of someone else is a dangerous game, because firstly, we can never know for sure in which of these three categories the other person will belong. And secondly, doing that means our self-worth will be changing form and shape all the time. Instead of giving this winning card for free to other people, we should hide it away so that the only one who can use it is us. When we talk about making use of our power and making sure that we don't give much of it away, what it comes down to is recognizing our own power, which is not an easy task. We all have our own demons that we are fighting with, even on a daily basis. So doing this kind of work on ourselves takes real commitment. And sometimes we take a step forward, other times a step back, but it's an objective that is worth working for. People in our life have the power that we give them. Let's do our best to give most of it to ourselves. Thank you so much for watching. I will see you in the next video.